Hello, this is Mr. Wynn. Today's video will be about solving rational equations and inequalities. So this lesson uses what we did in 8-1, that was multiplying and dividing rational expressions, so fractions, and 8-2, that was adding and subtracting, and we're finally putting in the equation and solving part. We still factor, get common denominators, find restrictions, we just now add roots or solutions. So here's the first example. So first, let's factor everything. So this first one does not factor. The second one, I'm going to leave the top. I'm just going to factor the common denominator, really. That is, if you do the ACX method, 15 is 3 times 5, and 3 plus 5 is 8. So that's good. And this does not factor. All right, we got to find the LCD. We got to figure out what is in every denominator. Well, I see a x plus 5. So I need that for sure. That's unique. I see x plus 5 again, but it's just 1, so it's already taken care of. I see x plus 3. In the last denominator, I see x plus 3, so that's already taken care of. So there's only 2 things we need in the denominator for each of these. So let's move this up here. That means I'm going to fix the first one by multiplying by what's missing. We need a x plus 3 on both. The middle is already set with both x plus 5 and x plus 3. The right fraction needs the x plus 5, so times x plus 5 over x plus 5. Alright, now let's put it all together. So this left one will be 2x times x plus 3 all over this x plus 3, x plus 5. Now this next one's the same denominator, so I'm not going to rewrite it. I'll just put it all together as one giant fraction. That has a minus sign, so make sure I have parentheses. Equals 3 times x plus 5 over this same denominator. Alright, this is fully factored form, and we combine it to a single fraction. Find our restrictions. What can x not be? So, set the denominator equals 0. X cannot be negative 3 or negative 5. Because that's negative 3 right there, that's negative 5. Here's a repeat, the same thing. Alright, now when finding roots for solving for the zeros, where y is 0, so that means you need 0 on top of your fraction, because 0 divided by anything besides 0, it's 0. So we don't care about the bottom. To get rid of fractions, just multiply both sides by the denominator. Well, they're both the same thing, so technically you can just cancel them out, ignore them. So what's left is our equation. Now I gotta distribute this. So that is 2x squared plus 6x. I distribute this negative 1. So that's minus x squared plus x plus 10. On this right side, I gotta distribute this as well. So just a lot of algebra. 3x plus 15. Combine like terms. Well, I have 2x squared minus 1x squared is just x squared. I have 6x plus x is 7x plus 10 on the left. So the right side is just 3x plus 15. Now I see a quadratic x squared. It does not disappear, meaning I could do quadratic formula, but I do need standard form no matter what method I choose. So subtract 3x both sides, also subtract 15 both sides. We end with x squared plus 4x minus 5 equals 0. So here I can do quadratic formula. However, I'm going to factor. Remember, factoring is faster if you know how to do it. Otherwise, you'd be doing quadratic formula probably like 3 or 4 times each problem. Alright, so if we do the ACX method, I know that x squared plus 4x minus 5. Well, 5 is 5 times 1, and 5 minus 1 is 4. That's x plus 5, x minus 1 equals 0. So, 0 product property, or just so those factors equal 0, x equals negative 5 and positive 1. Now remember our restrictions. It said x cannot be negative 5 or negative 3. So when we said our answer x is negative 5, that's not allowed. Our final answer is x equals 1. That would be an x-intercept of this graph. Alright, so like we did before, common denominators, find the restrictions, then you can ignore the denominators, just solve the top part, equal the other top part. Distribute, combine terms, and then if it's linear, it's easy, solve, get x to one side. If it's quadratic, you quadratic formula or factor, and then if it's cubic, well, you already learn how to do stuff like that. Just do the math. Alright, when we do inequalities, we solve the same way, but our answers, we have to use them to cut up the number line into sections and intervals, and we'll check each one with a test point. So here, it's an easier problem. Same thing, first step, common denominator. So let's find the LCD. Well, I see a 3, and I see an x, and that's it. So I need 3x for all three denominators. The first one I got fixed by multiplying by x over x. This one I got multiplied by 3 over 3. And this other one I got multiplied by x over x. So what I really have is x squared over 3x minus 1 times 3 is 3, and that's 3x, so I'm not going to rewrite that, less than x times x plus 1. I'm going to have to distribute that in a little bit. Alright, so, like before, final restrictions, x cannot be 0, otherwise the denominator would be 0. Now I can ignore that, so let's cross that out. We just solved this. X squared minus 3 is less than, let's distribute now, x squared plus x. Okay, everything's one side. Oh, the x squareds cancel here, so that's good. Subtract x squared both sides. That's gone, that's gone. I have negative 3 is less than x, so that's good. Or you just would say it's equal to x. Alright, so that's our answer there. Now, with our answers and our restrictions, we'll call them critical points. We got to make a number line. So using those, we're not done. Make a number line, divide it using our numbers. So that means 0 is somewhere and negative 3 is somewhere. Each of those cut up our number line. So you see there are 3 sections here. There could be more depending on how many critical values are. I got to try something to the left of negative 3. For example, I can plug in the point, let's try negative 4. If I plug in negative 4, it's the original problem. So let me erase this part into this. Alright, so I plug it into this. I would get negative 4 over 3 plus 1 over 4 is less than, well, negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3 over 3. That gives me negative 1.08 is smaller than negative 1. Well, that is true, so that's good. I try between negative 3 and 0, so let's try negative 1. So I'll try negative 1 here. Plug it in. I get I get negative 1 over 3 plus 1 over 1 is less than 0 over 3. If I simplify both sides, the left side turns to 0.67, the right side is 0. 0.67 is smaller than 0, that's false, so that did not work. I tried that last zone, any number bigger than 0, you could do 5, 10, 1, 2. I'm going to try 3. 3 looks easy. If I plug it in, I get 1 minus 1/3 is less than 4 over 3. So that's 0.67 is less than 1.33. That is true. So there are 2 areas of checks. That's our final answer, so we got to write it now. So when I write my final answer, let's see, I'll get rid of this part. I'll say that my first area, x has to be less than negative 3. Then I write or. My second area, x has to be greater than 0. Basically, avoid the area between negative 3 and 0. Alright, last part is the word problem. So Sandra's canoeing rate in still water is 6 miles per hour. It takes her 3 hours to travel 10 miles round trip. Assuming she has a constant rate of speed, find the rate of the current. So current is water. It pushes you either faster or if you're going against the current, you go slower. Hopefully I remember the formula. D equals RT. Distance equals rate times time. Since we have time, let's solve for time. Let's divide both sides by R. So really, T equals D over R. Now let me draw you a little picture. She's going 10 miles round trip, means half each way, so 5 miles each way. She's going 5 miles with the current. So she goes 6 miles normally, but the current, the rate of the water pushes her further. So she might be going 9 miles per hour. So she's going 6 plus R one way. Then when she goes back, the other 5 miles, she still goes 6 normally, but the water is now slowing her down. So she goes a little less than 6. Alright, we're going to make the fractions. So she goes 5 miles at a rate of 6 plus R miles per hour one way. On the way back, she still goes another 5 miles at a rate of 6 minus r. And the total time it takes her is 3 hours. So now it's just like number 1. We gotta solve this. So same thing, common denominator, find the LCD. LCD, well, we have 6 plus r, 6 minus r, and 1, which 1 doesn't matter. So let's fix everything. This left fraction, I just have to multiply by 6 minus r over 6 minus r. This other fraction, I multiply by 6 plus r over 6 plus r. And this 3, I multiply by both. 6 plus r, 6 minus r, all over 6 plus r, 6 minus r. Alright, find our restrictions. Well, let's see. R cannot be -6 or +6. Otherwise, you have a divide by 0. Alright, ignore the bottom. So this bottom's now gone. This bottom's now gone. And this bottom's now gone. All we have left is a pretty easy algebra problem, actually. We have 6 minus r times 5 plus 6 plus r times 5 equals this thing. So I'll draw like that. We gotta distribute. So let's multiply this. I have 30 minus 5r plus 30 plus 5r equals that thing. I'm gonna multiply right here. That's the difference of squares. That's 36 minus r squared. Distribute that. That is 72, 108 minus 3r squared. I still don't have space. 108 minus 3r squared. I apologize for that. Combine like terms. Well, -5r plus 4 cancels. This left side is just 60 equals 108 minus 3r squared. Quadratic, but there's no b term, so I just do regular algebra to get r by itself. So subtract 108, subtract 108. I get -48 equals -3r squared. Get r by itself by dividing both sides by -3. So 16 equals r squared. But I want r, not r squared. Square root both sides. R equals 4. So that's how fast the water is moving, 4 miles per hour. So on her way there, she's going 10 miles per hour, and she's only going 5 miles total. So it only takes her half an hour. So on the way back, she's going 6 miles per hour. She's going 2 miles per hour upstream. So to go, that'll take her 2.5 hours. So half an hour plus 2.5 hours does equal 3 hours. So the water's pushing her 4 miles faster one way and slowing her down 4 miles per hour the other way. And that should be it. We won't do this problem. We'll talk about it in class. Alright, here's your practice problem. Try it. It's very easy. Nothing complicated. Answer should be 6. Again, this is Mr. Wynn. Thanks for watching. See you in class. Bye.